Good morning, Corporal Grant. I'm doing good this morning. How about you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good, thanks. Amidst all of the technological challenge, at least we are here and we are live. So I trust that the remaining of the hour, we can have a splendid program. What about you?
Yes, I believe so. Once everything works out accordingly, we should have a good program this morning.
Right. Well, that's how it is sometimes with technology. So we would not allow that to daunt us or to stop our objective from being obtained or reached, right? So as I said earlier on, you're attached to the SVU unit. When one hears about the SVU, what should they look forward to? What services do that department provides?
Well, SVU, which is an abbreviation, stands for the Special Victims Unit. It's a sub-office within the Criminal Investigations Department, on a whole, the RGPF.
Mm-hmm.
The Special Victims Unit deal with matters of sexual violence, domestic violence, and child abuse.
Mm-hmm.
We deal with a lot of matters, carry out investigations into such matters, and prefer charges to perpetrators of offenses
So,
regarding those aspects.
okay, sorry. Continue. Sorry. So,
We also assist persons to obtain protection orders. We assist them in the forms that they have to take to the registry and to the courthouse. We
okay.
also take statements in that regard as it relates to domestic violence. Yes, go ahead, Ms. Grant.
So, in regards to the celebration of Child Month and all of the services that your department provides to the public. Looking to or at Child Month, what in terms of the law, what would one say or what does the law say a child is?
Okay, child is a person who is under the age of 18. That's what the law of Grenada states.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So therefore Child Month as being celebrated and even that of the some of the sexual offenses that we respond to on a day-to-day basis would covers both male and female, boy or girl.
Yes, it does. Both male and female.
In respect to your
Any male or female under the age of 18.
okay, in respect to your department, the SVU, have you or your department had the experience of assisting or dealing with reports where you have male as the victim?
Yes, we have dealt with quite a few regarding males as victims.
And if possible, can you just enlighten us as to what are some of the offenses that your department had to deal with where males are the victims?
Some of the offenses are rape, violation of privacy.
Okay. Now, when we speak to sexual offenses, oftentimes you just hear of rape. Violation of privacy is a pretty new one on the market, if one may say. Persons are still seeking information as to how can that offense be committed. But in terms of the law, what are some of the offenses that can be committed against our children?
Some of the offenses committed against our children are child abuse, sexual assault, indecent assault, sexual intercourse with a minor, indecent behavior, child pornography. Also, violation of privacy is becoming a common one of lately regarding children. There are also some uncommon ones. They're in existence, but persons are mostly hardly charged in relation to those offenses: inducing sexual intercourse by force or duress, permitting or aiding in the defilement of a female, a young female, male or female, or forcefully taking or detaining person to have sexual intercourse.
That's it, or any others?
Also, we have procreation.
Based on your experience, um, what are the most prevalent offenses that one or as an officer has to investigate in regards to these offenses committed against children?
The most common one, I would say, is sexual intercourse with a minor. Indecent assault and sexual assault, that's mostly the common ones regarding children.
Indecent assault and sexual assault is for the lame person or the parent or guardian who is listening and trying to understand what are the difference between sexual assault and indecent assault. Can you enlighten some on that?
Yes. Indecent assault is the unwanted touching of a person's body by another, example, kissing or inappropriate touching of one's breast, bottom, or genital area. Sexual assault, a person commits sexual assault if he or she unlawfully penetrates the genital organ of another person with any part of his or her body or any object without the consent of that person. So that's the difference. Indecent is the unwanted touching. Sexual assault is the penetration of one's genital area with a body part or an object.
Okay. So I think our parents and guardians would be clearer as to the differences into that. But Miss Francis, as it regards to children and having an appreciation to the offenses that can be committed or perpetrated against our children, parents or guardians has a responsibility for their children, and as such, having knowledge that something had happened to their child or children. Is there anything in law that commands them to take some form of action?
Yes, it does. There's mandatory reporting of suspected abuse. So any parent or guardian or any duty bearer is mandated by law to report matters of sexual abuse committed against minors. Once they suspect that something might be going on in relation to the sexual abuse of a child in their care or minor, they're obligated to report it as soon as possible.
So, in the case where mommy is saying that my daughter complains against my husband, which is the child's stepfather, for inappropriately touching her. But in mommy's opinion, if that reaches the police, my family is broken up. It's likely that my husband can be charged or go to prison or fined. And she refuses to report. But the child is saying, yes, I did tell mommy. Is there any consequence for mommy?
Yes, it is. Because mommy was maybe the first person that the child told, and she has an obligation to report it. Regardless is the father or the stepfather, she's obligated to report anything of a sexual nature or sexual abuse that her child reports to her. So she could be charged for mandatory reporting.
Can you tell us, if you have it at hand, what the penalty is like for that charge?
Okay.
Or maybe within the course of the program, if you can always stick it in if it does not
The,
have it ready
the
handed.
fine is not exceeding $15,000 or a term of imprisonment not exceeding 7 years or both. So you could be fined $15,000 or a term imprisonment of 7 years or both.
Because it's good that our parents and guardians or persons who have command and charge for our young ones to be aware as to the authority or responsibility that they have by law, and it's not by choice, and failure to also do so, what the consequences are, even if there haven't been much persons being charged with such offense. It's always wise to let them know that it is something on the book, and there are consequences. Apart from our parents and guardians, there are other persons who has that same responsibility. And I want to look towards the school in terms of the principal and staff. Would you, how would you advise that the school help in that regard where sexual education is concerned?
So the school can assist by incorporating sexual education into the school. Most of the times we come across, especially the young ones, they don't know the proper name of the genital area, or what it's called and whatnot. So by getting them to open up and give a statement is very hard. So at a very early age, maybe the school could incorporate and then have refreshers as the time progresses while that child is going through the schooling process. Also, in relation, the principal and the school, once a child complains of being sexual abused or whatnot, they should refer the information immediately to the relevant authority. Because also teachers and counselors and principal could be charged also for mandatory reporting.
When you say report to the relevant authority, which is the authority you're speaking of?
The police, for sure, the Royal Grenada Police Force.
I just, you see, we have to be so careful because sometimes persons may say, well, or the staff may say, as a teacher, Jane came and told me that John, her brother, had sex with her last night, or shove his finger in her vagina. And a teacher may say, well, because his brothers and sisters, I called her mother in and told her mother. Now, mommy realizing it's my son and my daughter that can't go outside of the house, so let's deal with it here. And in so doing, both adults, which is the teacher and the mother, would be committing an offense because the law requires that they report it. So when we say the authority, we just want to make it clear so that all persons listening can be fully abreast or aware as to the authority is certainly the police, your report. And in light of offenses or this category of offenses committed against children, is there any other stakeholders or agencies that the police work with as they carry out such investigation?
Yes, we do. We work along with the Child Protection Authority, the Ministry of Social Development, legal aid and counseling, and also probation unit. That's some of the entities we work along with.
Okay. So, listeners, you're listening to the conversation with the RGPF. And this morning, we are placing emphasis on sexual offenses or offenses that are committed against our children, considering the fact that November month is celebrated this year, 2021, as Child Month. And in light of that, we are providing awareness for you, our listeners, parents and guardians, and even you, our children, who needs to have the information and to know. So in the event something were to happen to you, you know what to do, how to protect yourself, who should you tell in case something of that nature were to happen. And I am speaking with, or my guest is WDC 292 Francis, attached to SVU. And as you heard a little bit too upfront, that the department deals a lot with reports of that nature and also assist persons. Now, I want our listeners to be aware that she did not say assist females, assist persons. And that's what the law speaks about. Even in our Domestic Violence Act, it never make mention to a gender, but it makes mention to person. So they do assist person in the application of protection orders and other issues that concerns with domestic violence and also that of sexual offenses. But this morning, emphasis is being placed on offenses that can and are normally perpetrated against our children. Miss Francis, in relation to persons wanting to contact your department in regards to report incident or just to convey information that they think they have or had seen, what number can they do so via?
The Special Victims Unit could be reached on the telephone number 440-4739. We also have a hotline number which is 400-400.
Um,
So I'll just recap the numbers, the two numbers. 440-4739, and our hotline number is 400. Persons can call anytime. The 400 number, they can call anytime. There's always somebody there to answer.
that contact numbers, what if an individual do not have credit on their mobile phone? Can they still reach your hotline number?
Yes, if an individual doesn't have credit, they could reach us on 400. You don't have to have credit to call the 400 number. It's a free call. You could also call 911, which is also a free call once you don't have credit.
And in light of SVU, regardless to where you are, trial and state or outside, one can call to communicate or to report an incident. Correct?
Yes.
Right. So we are aware, and you spoke of one of the offenses that would concern or is likely to happen via this subtopic that we want to go into. And as with everything, COVID has brought us quicker or faster to our technological era or stage. And as such, almost every child or children has a device in their possession. To our parents and guardians who are listening to us this morning, and even the children who are at home and is not attending virtual class at this stage, what is it you're going to say to them? What advice would you give to them in light of using those gadgets or devices that they has in their possession?
So we're in a technological era where the children nowadays they love their gadgets. But it's used as a form of learning, but some of them use it for other means. So we advise that their usage be monitored. Some of the parents could download an app. There's so much app that parents could download to onto the child's devices to gain access to see what they're doing, what they're engaging in on their devices. Also, the parent can monitor their usage by maybe giving them a timeout from the device. You use it for an hour, you take it for an hour, and then you could go through the device also and see the kind of activities that your child or children are engaging in on such platforms. Also, the children love the Facebook and the Instagram and the TikTok, and they may befriend somebody on those devices or whatnot, end up in an online relationship with someone. Some the person put up a picture with depicting a young person of the same age as them, and Lord behold is nothing, so they might ask you to send a naked picture of themselves, make a video of themselves, and not knowingly they send those things out there, and then they realize that it's a perpetrator. The person might say, well, I have these videos of you. If you don't want it to be leaked, come and meet me so and so. Or they might ask them to engage in sexual activities. So the children also should be mindful of the type of conversation and the persons they interact on social media and those devices also.
As a parent, you're not technologically inclined, or yes, you have a tablet or a cell phone, but the most you know is to make and receive a call, as you would normally hear parents say. But the child come home or a neighbor or a relative says to you as a parent, um, there is a video or a photo, nude photo circulating with your daughter. You had conversation with your daughter and she say she saw it because her friends at school sent it to her also, but she don't know how it come about. What advice would you give to a parent in such a situation?
So a parent in that situation should immediately go and make a report, bring that child, get a statement, try to get as much information who might have saw it, who they called, knows about the video circulating, and give a formal statement. The matter will be investigated. It will be narrowed down to maybe persons or suspect. The persons will be interviewed, their devices taken in order to get digital forensic evidence to prove that their device was connected to the transmission of such nude photos or videos of that child. And most times somebody may be charged for sending out those videos once there credible evidence to prove that their device was used to send out those videos of a child of that sexual nature.
But the individual may say, well, yes, I had it on my device because she sent it to me. Yes, I requested it, or she elected to send it to me because we were friends. Um, but I don't know how it got out in the media, or yes, she sent it to me and I had deleted it. What So the mother coming in with those information, what would you say to her? What advice would you give in such a situation? Even if the alleged person who who received it says, yes, I had it, but I did not send it out because after she sent it to me, I deleted it. But here it is, he is admitting, yes, I had it in my possession. But the mother is confused and perplexed and seeking advice. What would you say to her?
Well, the matter will be investigated, and the person saying that they deleted it or whatnot they did to it, their devices will also be confiscated to see whether or not they actually deleted or they sent it out to someone.
Right.
So digital forensic evidence will be taken from that device to conclude that story that the person is claiming that they just deleted it and not sent it out.
Grateful. I'm happy to know, and so is some other parent to know that even if with an alibi, that that does not stop or desist an investigation from going on, and even that alleged perpetrator from being thoroughly investigated. As as an investigator and also parents listening to us this morning, there is some age, quote unquote, confusion in regards to how parents and guardians view those figures when it comes to offenses being committed and even consented age. Is there any of that you can help clear up for us this morning?
Yes. The age of consent is 16 years. So anybody under the age of 16 cannot give consent to have sexual intercourse with anyone.
You there?
Yes, we also have some stats that we have gathered in comparison with last year and this year. Even though the year has not been completed, we have some stats readily available.
Okay,
So the
continue.
stats is from the first 10 months of this year. So in 2020, the RGPF documented 94 victims of sexual violence ranging from the ages 2 to 17. Of that figure, 2 were female and 1 was male. The most prevalent age group that was affected for 2020 was between 12 and 16 years. The most prevalent offense was sexual intercourse with a female between 13 and 16 years, of which 85 charges were laid on perpetrators. For 2020, there were 3 confirmed teenage pregnancy recorded. That's what we know of at the unit. For the first 10 months, of 2021, we recorded 135 victims between the ages of 3 to 17 years who were affected of sexual violence. Of that figure, 6 were males. The youngest victim was age 3, a female. The most prevalent age group was from 11 to 16, and the most prevalent offense was sexual intercourse with a female between 13 and 16 years. We have recorded 7 confirmed teenage pregnancies. That's what we know of at the unit. That's all the stats we have at the moment.
Okay.
Yes.
In regards to the stats that you have, if you do, you let us know. Is there any month that stood out for the department in terms of the commission of offenses?
At the moment, we are unable to give out that information. Maybe at a later date, we'll be able to give out the information regarding the most prevalent month, because the year has not finished as yet. We don't know what the few months might bring. So at this
Okay.
moment, we cannot really pinpoint a month in particular that stands out.
All right. That's all right. Um, I just want to backtrack a bit on the ages of um children. We looked at age of consent. What about, or is there an age for criminal responsibility for which a child can be charged for committing an offense?
The age of criminal responsibility in which a child could be charged is from the age of 12. So from the age of 12, someone who commits an offense may be brought before court and charges preferred against them.
Well, listeners, as usual, we are almost completed our hours program. And in studio with me virtually is that of WDC 292, sorry, Francis, attached to the SVU. And this morning we have looked at offenses being perpetrated or committed against our children, bearing in mind that we are looking at or celebrating the month of the child, or Child's Month. And if there has been a time where you, as an adult, as a carer, parent, or guardian, feel your child or children, or even one within the community or place within your charge, I want to encourage you that November 2021 is the best time to start, because it is a month of significance for them. And you would have heard WDC Francis highlighting some of the offenses and some of the things that our children have been encountering. She has given us some statistics as to what her department has to be dealing with on a day-to-day level with our young people. So I just want to encourage us that we help our children to be the best that we can. But as per usual, our program could never end without allowing our guests to leave some brief remarks with you as to what they think can assist you as you go through. So, Miss Francis, as we come to the conclusion of the program, I would now allow you to leave some remarks with our listeners as to the take home of the program.
Okay. In light of the theme for the 2021 Child Month, which is quoted as Children's Care and Education Matter, let children grow, glow, and flourish. We're appealing to perpetrators to give children the opportunity to grow, remembering that they are the future of tomorrow. We as adults should have the responsibility to protect and take care of our young ones. We're also advocating mandatory reporting that once a parent, a guardian, a duty bearer suspects that a child is being sexually abused, you do what you're supposed to do, and that's report it as soon as possible to the relevant authority, which is the police. We're also advocating that parents know they're responsible. know their responsibility and what they're supposed to do in regards to their children, to protect them, ensure that they're safe, encourage them, be there for them, be a listening ear to your child. We're also advocating that parents also introduce sexual education to their children at home. Don't wait on the teachers to teach them. You as a parent should teach your child good touch, bad touch. Start at home. We're also urging that parents be careful of the type of conversation they have in front of their minors. Some of adults may engage in vulgar and use sexual terms in front of their children. Those kind of conversations are not appropriate for children. We're also advocating that children be monitored when it comes to their viewing, their using of their devices. This will guard against child pornography and violation of privacy. So parents, be mindful of what the child is viewing on their gadgets.
And before you leave, Miss Francis, no one can say it better than you than your contact number so that persons can reach you or your colleague to seek some help or to deliver information.
So the Special Victims Unit can be contacted on telephone number 440-4739 or also on our hotline number 400-400. Persons could call anytime they wish to do so. There are persons readily available to answer the calls.
All right. So thank you so much, Miss Francis, WDC 292 Francis. And as per usual, the 1 hour quickly sweep away, although we had some technical challenge at the start of the program, but I do believe that we has accomplished the task that we wanted to achieve. So God bless you. Have a wonderful day. And to you, our listeners, once again, we say thank you for yet another conversation with the RGPF, and we trust that God continue to bless you as we continue to protect and care for our young ones and our loved ones. See you again next week, Wednesday, with another program, The Conversation with the RGPF.
Is you my society that guilty of police brutality against